Welcome back. In this lesson, we're examining the poem, Breakfast. I'll guide you through how to answer the question step by step, based on the marking criteria, so that you can improve your exam results. Question. Emotional conflicts in human beings are subtly symbolized in breakfast. Examine the poem in relation to this view. A good answer should include: a brief introduction may include the poet, question, and poem, as well as a few of the following points with examples from the poem, where necessary. The silence represents emotional distance or conflict between the couple, despite being physically close. He put down the cup without speaking to me. He lit a cigarette without speaking to me. This silence can suggest feelings of anger, frustration, or resignation, representing how people can emotionally shut down without expressing their inner turmoil. Without speaking to me, without looking at me. Both characters in the poem seem to be isolated in their emotional worlds. This highlights the alienation and emotional fragmentation that often exist in human relationships. Irony is created through the title. Actually, no breakfast is partaken of, although they are at the breakfast table. The very intense emotional situation is made dramatic through silence and the mechanical behavior of the husband. Finally, the reader notices a physical distance too as he goes out. Question. Breakfast is a reflection of damaged human relationships. Discuss. Breakfast is a detailed presentation of two individuals' behavior whose relationship is damaged. The man apparently prepares coffee for himself and drinks it alone, while the woman is watching him. All the actions are done by the man. The woman merely observes, which shows her helplessness. Drank the coffee and milk without speaking to me. It looks as if all verbal communication has stopped. Without speaking to me, without looking at me. It is clear that both individuals suffer and express their emotions in two different ways. He went out in the rain, and I put my head in my hands and wept. Finally, the man leaves the scene of tension and goes out into the rain. The woman breaks down and weeps. The rain seems to intensify the conflict within. Hence, the man goes out and leaves the woman to suffer alone. Question. Breakfast is a picturesque description of family conflicts. Does this sum up the main idea of the poem? Answer should address the following: an introduction to the poem and to the question. There are two parts in the question. The poem draws pictures of the event and shows a family conflict between two members. In the poem, the poet brings a picturesque description of a conflict between a man and a woman in a cinematic way. The breakfast table, which normally brings the members together, helping and serving each other, is in this poem a scene of distraction and rejection. Throughout the poem, until the end, what is pictured is just one person's actions and behaviors. The other member is invisible or unheard until the end. This suggests how power is manipulated in the relationship. This may imply the significance given to the man described. For instance, he drinks coffee, he smokes, he walks away, he does everything on his own while the other one is seen weeping at the end. The sad, lonely mood is presented in a picturesque way of silently watching, and the mood of weeping is presented in long-syllable words. The lack of a reciprocal relationship between the two members is highlighted. Literary devices. It is also noteworthy to mention the usage of the pronouns he and I. The narrator describes the doer of the actions as he, whereas the recipient as I, which implies the distance in the relationship. The narrator is a passive observer of his actions. The title, Breakfast, is ironic. Although the title is Breakfast, we don't see an enjoyment of breakfast but a distance, a conflict between the two partners. Stay ahead in your studies, hit subscribe and keep learning with me.